The lifestyle in Los Angeles is a whole lot different than D.C. How did you adjust coming from the East Coast swing out to that West Coast gangster?
You know what, man? I kind of had a little in me already. I was always like a fan of like the West Coast flavor. You know, I liked NWA and everything growing up. Mm-hmm. But when I got out there, man, it was like the golden era of like rap, if you ask me, in the 90s. Like Dre's, Chronic had just dropped, Snoop's stuff was dropping, you know, like everything. And I just kind of, you know, fell back into that little low ride lifestyle. Like, you know, cats out here got it. They all right, you know what I'm saying?
What about that go-go now? Come on, that go-go got funk to it now, baby.
Hey, man, I tried to introduce a couple cats to the go-go. They just didn't want to do it. And I said, that's all good, man. I'm going to just keep my little Ari, my little Rare Essence, my little Junkyard, little Pleasure tapes up in my own little car playing by myself. But you know what? You can't mess around rolling down the street smoking Indo, sipping on gin and juice down in L.A., you know what I'm saying? That you're like, okay.
Hey, welcome back to Life After Sports, episode number 9. Myself, Greg Vaughn, Big J-Dog. We got J.O. in the house today.
J.O., baby.
What's happening, fellas?
What's up, man? Hey, thank you for coming on.
Oh, no, my pleasure.
What's going on, Hall of Famer? Tell me something good.
Man, that's that same shit, different day, you know what I'm saying? Just out here living a life in Vegas, man, enjoying my life, you know, just trying to have a good time and have a little fun, man. You know how it goes.
Yeah, you told me you swung them clubs today. How you do?
Man, you know what, man? Today was a decent day, man. Shot 81 today. The other day, I ain't tell you this the other day, man. On Saturday, I was in my little skins game. Had 5 birdies.
Ooh.
Got them for about $180 in skin money. Shot 72. I made sure I posted it, though. You know what I'm saying?
Because I'm going to look.
I ain't want nobody out there checking on my head.
Hey, G, we got to check on it.
I remember like a 9 to a 7, like one round. Like, oh, Lord. That's all good, though.
Hey, man. It's a wonderful thing to have you here on Life After Sports, man, with me and Greg. We brought you here because we want to talk about the great career that you had and the things that you did after your career. But the first thing we want to talk about is your career that you had, man. How did you get started in football, and who got you started in football?
Yeah, man, I grew up in Washington, D.C., back in the 80s when the Hogs and the Redskins, you know, the team formerly known as Redskins, whatever you want to call them nowadays, the Commanders. They were the Redskins back then.
Right on.
You know what I'm saying? And that was when they were winning Super Bowls and, you know, 3 Super Bowls in the 80s. And I just loved the game. My dad played at Howard University. I didn't get to see him play, obviously, but, I mean, he told me and he had pictures, and, I just liked the game. So I just said, you know what, 7th grade, I picked it up. I tried to play in Pop Warner, but my mother didn't let me play because I couldn't make the weight for my age group. I would have had to play up, and she didn't want me to play up with the older kids.
Right.
So I didn't do that until 7th grade. I picked up, when I picked up a football, I put the pads and the helmet on and just started seeing what it was like and just having fun. Okay.
Tell me about the life in D.C., man. Tell me about D.C. I know about the go-go music. Tell me how did the culture of D.C. influence Mr. Jonathan Ogden?
Man, D.C. was great, man. Chocolate City, growing up there, you know, just taking the subway around, you know, like living where the Capitol is, the White House is, all that stuff was just second nature. It was just there to me. Looking back at it, man, I don't think I'd ever want to go back to live in D.C. because it's a busy city. It's just very busy, and I don't like that lifestyle anymore. But to grow up there, man, it was the best, man. I mean, I got to experience like the best and the worst, you know, like we had some, like the murder rate was like the worst in the U.S. at the time, but we also had like diplomats, and I graduated with a Rockefeller and a Marriott in my class from high school. That's the type of school I went to. So, I mean, I got to see the whole gamut of everything that D.C. had to offer.
Okay.
Yeah, but let me ask you this, because you think of East Coast, you know, especially coming from the West Coast like I do. In D.C., is basketball bigger or is football bigger?
Oh, come on, Shawty. Everybody's Shawty in D.C. That's what we call everybody, man. Shawty. But, man, basketball is
the Matha and all that, yeah.
The DMV, they just did a little special on ESPN or something about all the ballers that come out of that area. Durant and Beasley, had a ton of dudes come out of there. But basketball was my first love growing up, honestly. I mean, I used to be like, look out for that crossover. I get with that cross, you know, and pull up, hit that 3, and they get back, you know. But, I also knew that I was probably never going to make it in the NBA. But my football skills, you know, basketball was like kind of helped my football skills, honestly. You know, it was like playing defense or like pass blocking. You just kind of defending the basket, defending the quarterback. So I just kind of translated that, and then when I started playing football.
Okay.
Yeah, man, I think basketball is the one sport that you are an athlete. You know what I mean? You can transcend it. You can go to baseball, you can go to football, and you can always stay in basketball. You know what I mean? It's one of those sports where you have to, if you're an athlete, you'd be okay. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I mean, if you got spatial awareness and how to, like, you know, just be an athlete, like you say, basketball is the best. It is.
Yeah, tell me this, then. You grew up on the East Coast. You grew up a good football player. All them big schools on the East Coast. How did you end up on the West Coast playing for UCLA?
I mean, okay, well, every school recruited me. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't a school out there that I didn't get a letter from, talk to a coach. But there wasn't no real good football in the immediate area. Like, University of Maryland was, UVA was so-so, and I took a trip there because for certain reasons, I took a trip there because my coach knew people there, and he asked me to take a trip there.
Okay.
But it was a nice school. UVA was great. But every place else was kind of a plane ride. And Penn State is in the middle of nowhere. I didn't want to do that. So I also took a trip to Florida, took a trip to Notre Dame. Mm-hmm. And I said, you know what, Florida was nice. Eastbury was great. But Gainesville is just Gainesville, right? So UCLA, they called me up probably like, I want to say, in September. And they're like, we'd like you could take a trip. I said, I don't know. And I told them, I said, yeah. Like probably in October, I said, yeah. They said, you know what? Why don't you wait till like January, after the holidays, you come out here, take a trip. So I get on a plane like it's January, like 4th, 5th, whatever. It's after New Year's. It's like 30 degrees in D.C. I land in LAX, 75 degrees, sunny. I'm like, God damn, it's like, how y'all not know this, brother? Like, I ain't know it could be like 75 in January. And then they were smart. They ain't take me like down the 405. They took me down like PCH. We stopped at Gladstone's restaurant for lunch. We went up Sunset, stayed in Beverly Hills. I'm like, yeah, LA, we might be able to get this little run, and then you play at the Rose Bowl, one of the most iconic stadiums in college sports. So it's probably the best decision I made. We didn't win as many games as I would have liked, but you know what? I had a great time going there, made great friends, and I wouldn't have traded for anything.
The lifestyle in Los Angeles is a whole lot different than D.C. As far as the music, the culture, even the people, just the people alone. How did you adjust coming from the East Coast swing out to that West Coast gangster?
You know what, man? I kind of had a little in me already. I was always like a fan of like the West Coast flavor. I liked NWA and everything growing up. Mm-hmm. But when I got out there, man, it was like the golden era of like rap, if you ask me, in the 90s. Like Dre's, Chronic had just dropped, Snoop's stuff was dropping, like everything. And I just kind of, fell back into that little low ride lifestyle. Like, cats out here got it. They all right, you know what I'm saying?
What about that go-go now? Come on, that go-go got funk to it now, baby.
Hey, man, I tried to introduce a couple cats to the go-go. They just didn't want to do it. And I said, that's all good, man. I'm going to just keep my little Ari, my little Red Essence, my little Junkyard, little Pleasure Tapes up in my own little car playing by myself. But you know what? You can't mess around rolling down the street smoking Indo, sipping on gin and juice down in L.A., you know what I'm saying? That you're like, okay, this is all right,
Yeah, I get it, man. I get it. Man, so now you're at UCLA. You getting adjusted to the California life. Man, tell me about the campus life of a big school like UCLA mixed in with the soul of the Pac-12 and getting your opportunity to meet all these different stars out here, man. Tell me about that. How did you react to that?
I thought it was a lot of fun, man, just being able to experience just Los Angeles, Hollywood, going to Prince's Club, Glam Slam, just being able to do that type of stuff was so much fun. We snuck into the after party for like the American Music Awards. They had them on campus one year. We snuck in. It's just being able to do stuff like that and just to be able to meet so many people, a lot of people from California, but I hadn't met a lot of people from California at the time. So just to meet people from the West Coast and just to kind of get to know people out there, just to know that it's a laid back, yet it's aggressive, yet laid back at the same time. It was a good fit for me, man. That campus is beautiful. Like, you're surrounded by Beverly Hills, Bel Air, Brentwood, right in the heart. It's just beautiful, man. And it was a kind of a pain in the ass to walk the campus, my first year, and living in the dorms. But once I got off campus, though, I was chilling.
Yeah, because I know I took a trip there, and Jackie Robinson baseball field was, so did the football and then the baseball. I was like, man, this is its own city in itself. You know, I at the University of Miami, man. I didn't have to take a car for 3 years. I mean, you don't have to take a car. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was overwhelming. But I'm coming from the West Coast, and people say, "How do you live in Vegas to chill?" And I was like, "Man, we don't see Vegas. You know what I mean? We don't see what you guys see.
I describe Vegas to people as like a big donut, and like the strip is like the hole in the middle. Well, motherfuckers just try to avoid that shit. You go all around that son bitch if you can. Because, I mean, when last week when the Super Bowl was here, you're forced to go down, and when you have to go down there, you go down there. But if you can avoid it like the plague.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. The donut. Yeah,
I like that.
We just gotta go around it. You go around the 215, around the 95. Don't go through the 15. You're gonna have to.
Because if you go through the 15, you might
get bit.
And the corridor is even bad now. Going down the 15 corridor with all that traffic on truck, man, shoot.
Man, it's getting bad.
It is.
But yeah, man, okay, so now you in UCLA, you playing a little football, you doing your thing, you getting adjusted to the college life. Now it's getting ready to round draft time. You've done your thing. So when the first time that you thought about being a professional football player?
I'll say this, man. Probably like my first year was a whirlwind. I got to start probably like my 5th game in, and I did okay. But that year, that offseason between my freshman and sophomore year, I really worked out, tried to get myself in shape. And after my sophomore year, I played pretty good. I didn't make any I think I made honorable mention all conference, but I realized I went against a guy, Jameer Miller, and I also played against, Jameer Miller was my teammate at UCLA, went against him in practice. And I played in games against a guy named Trev Alberts, who went to Nebraska, Shante Carver went to Arizona State, and Willie McGinnis at USC. And all 4 of them dudes went the first round that year.
Right.
And I was looking at my film against those dudes. I was like, you know what? I do good against Jameer in practice. I held my own against these dudes in the games. This is my sophomore year. I was like, you know what? If I can continue on the trajectory and continue the hard work, then I might have a shot to make it up there. Because if these dudes first round and I'm doing okay against them, then I'm a sophomore. Give me a couple more years and we'll see how it goes.
That's what's happening.
No, it is. It's ironic. When I first moved here from SAC, Colt Miller, I think, got drafted. And me and Jay remember at the same club. I said, "Hey, Colt, hey man, same school, same this." I said, "Jay, this guy got to me. Can I give you a number, man? You're his idol." I don't think he understands the presence he has because just this is what you get from him all the time. You get this laid back. It's more like a Cal Berkeley atmosphere. You just laid back and
I call him the big baby.
Yeah, I know. This is what you see all the time, man. You know what I mean?
All the time, man. I love it though.
No, he never changes, man. That's what I love about our era. You know what I mean? I think what you got when you seen guys do their thing is what you got off the field. You know what I mean? It wasn't, I'm bigger than life. I'm this and that.
We're Gen Xers, man. You know what I'm saying? We grew up without things in our hands. We went outside and played. We did shit. We got beat. Parents, we'll give you something to cry about. You know what I'm saying? And we have a different way, the way we approach things. We don't approach things like we're entitled to stuff. Like some of these cats nowadays, like they just, this social day and age. It's a little scary if you ask me.
Our kids.
Oh, Lord, I fear for this generation, man. We'll see how it goes.
I know. It's just crazy. It's like, I showed up today, so, that should be all I've asked. You know what I mean? It's different. Like I said, man, you got to be scared of something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At home, the adult was always right, and the lack of respect, speaking of that, as you see, Cam putting on a 7-on-7 tournament, and then he's getting jumped by a coach and his players. I'm just saying. So
he invited.
Right.
He put on the tournament. That's what I'm saying. And this man gives back to the community.
Right, he'll give back to them, and this is what he gets.
This is what he gets for it. But the thing I don't understand is that other side of people, that's what they expect from us. When are we going to do something different?
Right.
You know what I mean? When are we going to do something different? And instead of going up to him and saying, "Hey man, how were you a Heisman Trophy winner? How were you, the MVP in the league? Yeah. What did you do?
How you hit 47 home runs? How you get this many sacks? How you become a Hall of Famer?"
Yeah, ask us, positive stuff. We try to tear them down. You know what I mean? And then we're jealous of what they accomplished instead of being happy for what they accomplished. You know what I mean?
I know. Yeah. Cam, you're a free agent. The man was the #1 pick. He accomplished so much. It blows my mind. It really does.
It's a situation that that's damning in our community.
Absolutely.
We would rather tear each other down and build us up. It's like when I first told people that I was going to write the book, From the Playing Fields to the Feds. I mean, I got a lot of, oh man, you don't know how to write, instead of saying, man, we're going to back you. But, you know, it was enough people to back me, to get it done, to get it out there. And now, we got the movie coming, and so I got people really backing it now. But why didn't you back it in the beginning, man? Why you had to wait and see, and just instead of just stepping up saying, man, we got you. We gonna ride all the way out with you. But enough about that. Let's get to your play. You was in the 96 draft, right?
Yeah, 96, yeah.
I remember seeing you in 1996. We came into Baltimore and played against you guys, and I remember watching you. And I remember leaving saying to myself, that young guy there is going to be a Hall of Famer. And I've always said it. And the guy told me, how you know he's going to be a Hall of Famer? I said, because, boy, he got the best paws in the world, because if he grab your ass, you through. Stop moving. And look at him, man. 14, 16 years later? How many years you play?
I played 12 years.
12
11
years.
Pro Bowls.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. It was,
I'm sorry about
that first year, man, though, it was interesting. I remember that first game playing against Chester, the late, great Chester McLaughlin, man, and I was tough, man. And but that transition to the league was fun, though, man. It was interesting. I always tell people, like, they ask me, like, what was your welcome to the NFL moment? And it was with Gilbert Brown. I was playing guard, and I was on a scoop block with the center. And Steve Everett got out a little quick, and I kind of left me with Gilbert, and I wasn't low. He caught me up under, flipped me on my back, made the tackle for a 1-yard loss, did the grave digger right on top of me. And I said, oh, man, you got to stay low out here, boy. You can't be messing around with these big old jokers out here, man.
Hey, man, for you guys out there don't know who Gilbert Brown is, that's the grave digger from Green Bay,
Green Bay, man. That big old joker, man. Him and Big Ted Washington, there was some heavy dudes, man. But everyone had that welcome to the NFL moment, though.
Oh, we all have. Yeah. I had mine. Jackie Slater got me. I went against Jackie Slater the first time I ever stepped on the field, and I beat him around the corner. He pushed me down, and he dived in the back of my kidneys with his knee and his whole body. And I lost my breath for like 3 quarters. And this is crazy, man. So after the game, I come up to Mr. Slater, and that's funny. I said, Mr. Slater. I walked up to him. I said, how you doing, Mr. Slater? My name's James Harris. He said, I know who you are. I said, yeah, thanks a lot. He said, man, you're going to be a good football player. I said, well, thank you. I said, well, can I ask you a question? I said, why did you dive into my kidneys? He said, young man, you got young legs. I need to slow you down.
Hey, man, I ain't going to say I was above poking somebody in the ribs. I've done it once or twice myself.
Hey, J.O., it took me damn near 3 quarters to get my win back. And by then, I was 0-0-0 and a half. What the half was, I had got a half a tackle.
But there was a method to the madness back then. Like you said, there was something that you did in the beginning that you knew was going to help you later on in the game. We thought, we used our mind, but like J.O. said, we went outside. If this can work on the cement, and I got more room on the grass, it might be able to do. You know what? We experienced stuff. You know what I mean? We weren't scared. They call it failure now. We call it experience. You know what I mean? Especially in my sport, hey man, I was 0 for a month before. I mean, you go 30 days and don't get a hit, man. I mean, you go.
That'll mess with you.
Hey, you go to get groceries, and the baggage boy's like, hey man,
when you gonna get a hit?
He's like, hey man, I think you're doing this. You go to the restaurant, the bus boy's telling you what to do, man. You're like, God damn, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then the coach is like, hey, you need me to give you a day? I'm like, shit, I can't get out of it on the bench, man. Hell no. I need to stay. I got a chance over here. Yeah, I got a chance over here.
I got a question for both of you guys. And I'm going to ask you first, J.O. When was the first moment that you knew you belonged in the NFL?
Oh, man, I probably knew from really early that I belonged. I mean, I don't know how good
I was. Not belong,
doing.
But knew that, I can play with these guys. That's what I should say.
I knew that early, too. It was probably training camp my rookie year.
Okay.
I mean, we were doing one-on-one drills, and Dan Footman was lining up against me. They sent him against me as the first one.
The foot.
The foot. And like the ball snapped, I set up, foot hit me with a little shake and tried to slap me with a little slap swim. I just straight jabbed it right in his chest. He stood right up and stopped right there. I said, okay, I can do this.
Okay.
But now I knew that I had to keep working, obviously, but I knew that was the first block I really made. I was like, oh, I got this motherfucker good right here. You know, it was the first of many. But yeah, I mean, but there was never any like complacency thinking like, oh, I got this shit figured out. It was always like, how can I keep getting better? How can I just keep improving? It's about the next play, one about the last one. So that was just always the way I looked at it.
Okay, well, Greg, I'm going to ask you the same question. First time you get in the major leagues, what was the moment that you knew that you belonged in the major leagues?
Well, I think for me, like JL said, man, I mean, I see myself there before I got there. You know what I mean? That's what I dreamt about, and so I see myself there. Mm-hmm. So in baseball, I remember I was the fourth pick, and then, you know, your first round pick, you go to, you know, they send you to big league camp, and then you get to play against, you know, the major leaguers, and you go down like right after they hand out meal money, you know, and you got to go get $15 instead of, you know, back then that good per diem. And, you know, you start facing big league pitching, man, and, you know, hey, I'm not going to lie, my first at-bat in spring training, the first time against a big league pitcher, I don't know if my spikes were in the ground, and then after the first pitch, and then it's all about respect. Now I got to earn my respect, you know what I mean, from my teammates and the guys I'm playing against. So that was good. But then, you know, I remember getting called up in Cleveland 2 years later. I got called up 2 years after getting drafted, you know what I mean? And it was the dude threw a pitch, man, I swear to God. And now I was minor league co-player of the year. You know, I went 30-30, you know, my 2 years. And I hit the ball like to the first base, like in the net, man. We were in Cleveland. And we hit the ball like over there, like it was like off my thumbs, you know what I mean? And the pitcher and shortstop were laughing. They turned and laughed. They were laughing at me like, who's this motherfucker? You know what I mean? And I was like,
why is he here?
Oh, yeah. I was like, oh, shit, okay. You motherfuckers are going to laugh, okay. I finished 3 for 3 my first day. But then it was all downhill after that, though, bro. You know what I mean? Because you bat 1,000, but after that it was
but ups and downs.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right.
You know, and you know, baseball, like I said, it's the only job in the world where you can fail 70% of the time at doing anything and be considered great. Wow. I mean, what else can you do at failure of 70%?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And be considered great. I mean, that's great. That's 3. You know, it sounds easy. Get 3 hits out of every 10 at bats. But, hey, round ball, round bat, them guys out there throwing it. You got 8 other guys out there freaking playing defense.
Them dudes be throwing that ball, too. They know how to put that thing in the corner. And, they know what they're doing.
So that's why I said, you know, and I always tell my kids, I said, I didn't care if he was the last man on the NBA team or if he was in the league, you know, some of our conversations. Mm-hmm. Hey, I mean, there's no level higher than that. You know, there's nobody up there that's bad.
No.
You know what I mean?
I always say the last dude on the NBA bench should be my first pick in the pickup game. I'm like, I want that dude first.
That's right.
You know, there's no league higher than that. You know what I mean? So we're going to turn it around. What about you? What did you know you belong?
The first time that I realized that I belong, I was going against, I had a guy by the name of Tim Irwin, old school left tackle.
Okay.
Played in Minnesota. So I get to the Vikings, and they convert me into a defensive end because I was a stand-up outside linebacker. And they said, well, you don't cover that well, so we want you to go forward. So they tell me to go against Tim Irwin, and I beat him around the corner a couple times. And I say to myself, like, wow, I think I can do this. But that ain't it. I see Randall McDaniel, one of the greatest offensive guards in the NFL history, to me. And I beat him on an ET stunt. And that's when I knew that I could play in the NFL, because when I come in on the stunt, I see Randall, and Randall sees me, and he goes to punch me, and I beat him with a short swim move. And I go by him, and he pushed me. And he turned around and he say, "You gonna be all right?" I said, "I can play." He said, "You gonna be all right." I didn't say you can play. And then I walked away and said, I could play in this league, because Randall McDaniel was one of the baddest offensive guards in the NFL. And for me to beat him, I figured I could play against anybody in this league and be okay. Chris Dolman always told me one thing. He said, hold your own against the best and beat the shit out the rest. And I always believed that when Chris told me that. So Randall McDaniel was the person that gave me the opportunity and gave me the encouragement. I don't know if he let me beat him, but that was the reason that I felt that I could play.
You know, I got it. Yeah, you know, it's ironic or iconic that, you know, it's always, like I said, in baseball, you know, because you hear about the football, my cousin Ricky playing football, you know, and all that. You hear about, you know, like, you know, a rookie quarterback gets drafted and you got the veteran, he ain't even going to talk to him, you know what I mean? And, you know, it's total opposite in baseball. You know, I mean, I had, you know, Mike Felder, Glenn Braggs, and then they're all outfielders. And here I am, you know, the fourth pick and moving fast. And, I mean, they were still my brothers, you know, like my big brothers, you know, my locker's next to Robin Yount. So there was always a wealth of information that you could gather or get, you know, they were willing to offer, you know, and we stayed after and we talked. And, you know, what's scary now is it's like if it's not orchestrated or if it's, you know, no one, you know what, like Giannis and LeBron and, you know, those guys going to see Akeem Olajuwon. I need Kobe. I need to get my footwork. You know, what do you do in the post? You know, looking up to asking questions. You know, like I said, Robin Yount told me this. He said, hey, man, as long as you're still willing to learn, you have a chance, not just in baseball, but life. You know, once you cut off learning and you are shutting it down, thinking you know everything, you have all the answers, and you're the best, you might as well dig a grave and jump in it because – first of all, no one's going to want to be around you. Right. Oh, you're going to be lonely, you know. So that's what I said about our generation, man. It was questions. You know, I was a sponge. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. See, didn't think we knew it all.
This is my This is my problem with it. Let's go to analytics. You know, we always talk about analytics on our show.
Okay.
And analytics fits in all of the sports right now. Now, before we get to that, I'm gonna ask you about a veteran. Was it a veteran that helped you along the way as you was coming up from a rookie into your? Because we still babies from our rookie to our third year. Right. We're still babies.
Yeah. You're still learning the game.
Learning the game. Was it anyone that you could say that helped you along the way?
I would say. We had a really good group of guys my first year. Tony Jones was very helpful, even though he knew that they brought me in to replace him. And when I played guard, he was a tackle, but he was very helpful just in the way things are done in offensive line room, how we do things as a unit, and just kind of seeing the defense from a professional view. You know, because you don't see the game the same in college. You know, your mind expands. Probably like by year 4, you're like, oh, my God, I see everything. But then you just are focused in. So Vaughn was great. Wally Williams was great. Eric Green was a lot of fun, a lot of help. I mean, at the tight end, he kept it entertaining. E. Green. But, yeah, I mean, we had a good group of guys, man. And, you know, I learned a lot just from watching other players. You know, used to love watching Munoz when I was younger. I watched Bruce Matthews. I watched Jim Lachey. I watched, what's my guy, Richmond Webb. I mean, I watched a lot of guys just to kind of pick up a little bit from them, but I also said I'm going to try to be my own, be the best I can be, kind of take what I could from them and just put it on me.
Okay, Bobby, but by you being such a great athlete, it wasn't too many guys like you with your feet. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Your feet was different. You had a defensive lineman feet. That's why I always said if I ever could be reincarnated, I would be a left tackle. Because to use the feet that you had, because you could have been a great left end because of your feet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So just swap it around, you would have been a great left end. I think I would have been a hell of a left tackle if we can just swap it around. But that's in hindsight. But, Greg, was it a professional baseball player that you looked up to as you was coming up?
Oh, yeah, man. Back then, like I said, I think people that look like us, we played every single sport. You know, we played them all in the same day. You know, in the summertime, you started out, you know, depending on how hot it was, you know what I mean?
Right.
Football was, you know, we got off that grass.
But you from Florida, though.
No, I'm from California.
I was going to give him Florida.
No,
I was waiting on him to say that.
No, so it's, you played them all. But growing up, baseball, for me, man, and become one of my really good friends and a brother, Ricky Henderson, man, Eric Davis. But, when I was little, man, it was Stretch, Willie McCovey, Willie Mays, Bobby Bonds, and then, you go across the bay and you had Bert Campanez, Reggie Jackson, you had, guys like that. And then the next thing I know, I'm playing against some of those guys, you know what I mean? So, and staying with them. But football was my first love. Another reason I think I played baseball is because everyone thought I was going to play football. And I said, I don't want anyone to tell me what I can do. So that's why I stopped football, you know what I mean? And it's been sort of crazy because I've had like 34 surgeries in baseball and didn't have any in football.
J.O., tell me this, man. It's getting time to close your career out. When did you start thinking, or did you ever start thinking about being a Hall of Famer?
Oh, yeah. I probably first had the thought, probably like maybe 6 years in, give or take, after like the 5th Pro Bowl, give or take.
Okay.
But it was kind of like a thought that kind of came in, and I said, okay, let's push that shit out your mind immediately because that's not going to help me the next, right now. So, yeah, I mean, because, you just kind of look at your resume, you know who's out there, you know what you've done, and you kind of see, and you see the guys who are going in, and I knew that if I continued on the pace I was on, that I had a good shot at it. And, you got to play for it. I knew I had to make it 11, 12 years or so, but yeah, I mean, around year 4 or 5. But like I said, the minute you start thinking you've made it, that's when, like you said, you know it all, and then you don't. And that's
Dig the grave,
I never did that, though, yeah.
But Joe, did you go out on read? What made you think it was time to quit? What was your deciding factor?
That's easy. Year 11, I get a real bad turf toe injury. Willie McGinnis blows up our tight end. They fall on the back of my heel, tear the big ligaments in my toe, left foot. So I don't play. This is like week 15. I don't play like the last week. We have a bye. I get shot up to play in the playoffs against the Colts. We lose an awful playoff game to the Colts. All whole offseason, I'm getting treatment, trying to get myself back, saying, should I get surgery? The doctor's like, nah, you don't need surgery. So I get fast forward to my 12th year. Every day I'm in the training room, every single day, getting something done, massage, ice, something on this toe. I had to get orthotics made. I had to wear size 17 shoes because they wouldn't even fit in my size 16,
Right.
And then, like, when I finally, so I missed, like, the first 4 games because I really couldn't, like, the whole offseason. I never really got right. And so, like, week 5, I finally start trying to play. I'm out there hobbling still. Cats out there bull rushing me. You know what I'm saying?
Because they catch you.
But they knew that my left foot couldn't anchor. So, like, no one ever bull rushed me before that, man. So, like, that whole year, man, I was just out there kind of like, who am I right now? I'm not playing like I'm supposed to be playing. And I remember we were playing Seattle, I think in like week 15 or 16, something like that. And we coming out of a TV timeout, and the damn 12th man is just going. It's just loud and just I can't hear nothing. And I'm looking across the way. I'm like, I would rather be any place else but right here, right now. I remember thinking that shit. I was like, oh, God damn, it's time to go. But then like I said, okay, let's go. Let's get yourself ready to go. I mean, because we come out of TV timeout. And I obviously I finished, but I mean, I knew then. And even after the season, I took another month just to kind of make sure, though. But I knew, man, it was just, I had accomplished everything I could do, man. I did, 12 years, 11 Pro Bowls, won a Super Bowl. I mean,
what else?
The resume was what it was going to be. And I just said, here, Canton, you take a look at it and see what you think.
Have you ever, after you retired, did you ever think about going back?
No.
Never. How about you, Greg?
It was a thought, man, but then, in baseball, I don't know about football, but I remember Robin Yount saying this, you're 22, you're in the big leagues, you're like, yeah, man. And Paulie said it, Paul Molitor. I was privileged to play with a lot of Hall of Famers myself and good players, and Dave Parker, who should be in the Hall of Fame. And he was another one of my heroes growing up watching play. Mm-hmm. Man, when you play a game and you get, I'm just going to remember the good points. You get 2 hits and you get on base, right? Mm-hmm. And you leave, you sit in the ice bath because that's what you did when we, in our day. You sat in the ice bath. I sat in it every single day. You go home, take a nap. Not take a nap, go to sleep, wake up for the next day. How the hell did I pull my calf muscle when I was asleep. What's wrong with my hamstring? You know what I mean?
I used to tell Casio, like, when I was a rookie, you play on Sunday. If I had to, I could have played the game the next Wednesday. I mean, I could have physically. I could have recovered. Man, by year 12, I was barely making it Sunday to Sunday. Like, shit, we got a game Sunday? Oh, Lord. I'm not going to, like, this hammy tight, this toe hurt, this shoulder don't want to work, man. Oh, Lord.
No. You know, and especially in your guys' division, you know, I mean, at that era, you know, the era that you played, you know, football was football. You know what I mean? Football was football.
90s, early 90s.
But you know, I mean, you had a couple, you know, you know, Ed Reed, Ray Lewis, you know, you know,
that 2000 defense, we was physical, man.
That's what I'm saying. That's what you had to go against every day.
Right,
you had to go against it every day. So I'm just saying, you know, coming from UCLA, you know, where the practices and the physicality that much more intense, you know, when you.
I mean, it's more about the coach and like how they want to run practice 9-on-7. Like Brian Billick was much more. He was more progressive in the way he did things. Ted Marchibroda was my coach for the first 3 years. Mm-hmm. Double days with pads, 2 weeks straight. I mean, like every day, you know, padded practices, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you know, stupid stuff like that. But Brian Billick got a little smarter. He's like, we're going to put the pads on one day and take them off, you know, and we were much smarter about it. And we're like, we're going to work smarter, not harder. We're going to save to inflict pain on the opponent on Sunday. We're not going to beat each other up. So I appreciated that about Brian Billick, man, because we could have done a lot of damage to each other in practice, but Brian's like, no, just walk through it. You know where you're supposed to be, get your fit, and then on Sunday, unleash hell. Like Maximus, you know?
That's right. Yeah. I see Brian Billick came from Minnesota.
Yeah.
And Brian was in Minnesota with me, so he kind of took it from Denny. You know what I'm saying? Denny was the type of guy like, hey, we're not going to beat each other up. And like we was one of the first teams that we didn't put pads on numbered Wednesdays. Wednesday we had pad day because it's proof. It's to get your ass together day, get the sewing is going. Yeah. And then Thursday and Friday, man, we have our helmet on, man, we have shells on. Denny was like, hey, I don't need y'all hot tonight. I need you hot on Sunday.
I need you to know your assignment, alignment, technique.
Alignment.
Do what you're supposed to do.
That's right.
And then when it's time to go.
Go. And that's the way Denny did it, and that's a wonderful way that Brian Billick took that to you guys, man.
Absolutely.
That was really good. So now you've made the Hall of Fame.
What was it like getting that call? I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
But what was it like getting that call?
Well, it was different back then. They didn't do the door knock. There was like we were down in New Orleans. It was a different president, Steve Perry. It wasn't David Baker. Mm-hmm. So basically, there was no real format how to do it. There was like a TV show that they announced it, like on the NFL Network, you know, like come watch the show. The Hall of Famers are going to be announced. So they asked me to come. It was down in New Orleans. Actually, the Ravens win that Super Bowl, so it was really cool. And they said, well, we want you to come be in the green room, you know, just in case, like, if you don't get in, then you can slip back out. I was like, fine, whatever. You know, so I'm nervous all day. Like, man, this is ridiculous. Ball pacing back and forth. So, but when I get into the green room, like Kevin Byrne, who was the Ravens PR director, he came up to me about 5 minutes before the show. He's like, congratulations, you're in. And it was like, it was unbelievable, man. It was just one of those moments. And I had such a great class. I had Larry Allen, Warren Sapp, Chris Carter, who was just cried the whole time. I mean,
crying. CC, you out there crying, man?
Come on now. You know CC, man. He was just a blubbering fool, man. He was,
my God. Me and CC played together in Minnesota. He's still crying.
I mean, it meant a lot to all of us. I mean, Bill Parcells was my class. We had a really good class. We had it's a great experience. The whole time between getting the call and the ceremony is a whirlwind because you got to do so much stuff. I mean, you're at the Super Bowl, you get announced. It was really cool with the Ravens being in the game. I got a huge ovation. Then you got to start planning the ceremony. You got to, contact people from, Pop Warner, everybody who's in your life. You got to see hotel rooms, and there's a lot that goes into it. Not to mention getting your speech ready, getting ready for the party.
Do they happen immediately?
What's that?
All these things.
All these things start immediately. Yeah, I mean, they do the bus, they measure you for your ring, they do all these things to get ready for that ceremony. Like Dwight, This year's class, Julius Peppers, all those guys, they are going through a lot right now. It's a busy 6 months. They're going to go to Canton at least once, if not twice, to do a site preview and just kind of get the lay of the land. And the year you get in, they say, is just ridiculous busy. They got you running here and there, but after that, it's real cool. Like going back now, I go back, I chill, I kick it with LT. We play golf every day, and we just talk shit. I'm like, how much money would we make if we was playing in today's day and age?
God.
It's a great time. I love hanging with Johnny Randall because we all golf. Marshall, Randall McDaniel, Munoz, LT. I mean, we just out there all the time, just having fun, just enjoying being around each other and just having a good time.
That's cool, man. So, G, I ain't going to get into this, but I'm going to get into it. Now, I'm your friend, and people probably going to say I'm biased. But it's only 27 people that have ever hit 50 home runs in 1 year, right? Or it's 21?
No, it's higher than that, I think, like 29.
29? Okay, now how many baseball players is in baseball? Let's think about it over time. Now, you got 50 home runs in 1 year. You have 47 in 1 year, 48 in another. Have you ever thought about why you're not in the Hall of Fame?
No, because I think, like Jonathan said, and like I said, I'm from South Sacramento, man.
Right.
I never played to get to the Hall of Fame. I think looking back, if I might have went at things differently, but, I was just out there trying to compete. And then I had so many shoulders. I had 4 cuff and labrum surgeries while I was playing. So, you can't extend, you can't do anything. So I wouldn't trade it, but I sometimes wonder if I wasn't, like Milwaukee, man, that was cold. I mean, it was outside. It wasn't a dome, man. I mean, I played in half a wetsuit sometimes in April and September. I mean, it was that cold. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And not have the injury. Sometimes I wonder, because if I know what I did when I was able to play, if I, was healthy. But I wouldn't trade it, man. God was good, and it is what it is. I'm sitting here with you guys. You know what I mean? And like I said, I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. Hey, man, back then, you didn't want to get Wally Pipp, dog. If you took a day off, you took a day off. Somebody's gonna get you, man.
That's right. Hey,
we just looked at the facts, and it's 48.
It's 48
as of this season.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
that's still not that many.
That's still great.
That's under 50 people at all.
Yeah, man. So our show is called Life After Sports, right? And so we focus a lot about our sports, but I would like to talk about your life after sports. How was the adjustment after you put down the cleats? I know how mine was. I had to end my career a little earlier than you guys did due to me not taking care of my body, me being in the streets doing things I shouldn't have been done, but, back injuries. But you finished your career the way that you wanted to finish it.
Exactly.
And after you put it down, what is life after sports for you?
Life is just me trying to enjoy it right now. I mean, honestly, I've been retired now since 2007.
Okay.
And, like you said, I walked away from the game with no regrets. Not 1 second that I wish I could go back and do it again or do it some more. So when I walked away, I was cool. I said, I'm ready to move on to the next chapter. And I never really let football define me. I know I played football and I was great at it, but I never viewed myself as a professional, a person who was just a professional football player. I just viewed myself as Jonathan. The kid from DC who went, just me. And so I'm at the point, there were times when I retired early when I was trying to find myself, like, what am I going to do? But now I'll be 50 this year, man. Wow. I've been retired.
When's your birthday, big fella?
July 31st, man.
All right.
And
you're Leo. I'm a Cancer.
Yeah. So, and I'm like, dude, I don't need to be trying to find something. I need to make sure that the years that we are left are good and enjoyable. I've been fortunate enough that I worked my ass off. I made enough money that I can, be cool. And so let's try to enjoy it. And I still do some work with some foundation. I got a foundation in Maryland I've had for 20 years that we've helped kids with life skills, and we've done scholarship programs. We've done a lot of good for kids back in Baltimore. So I still do that to kind of make sure I'm still giving back somewhat. But for the most part, just to try to make sure my kids don't do something stupid.
Yeah, man, that's the main thing.
Oh,
man.
Lord,
That's
them
funny.
children.
I heard you say something that made a lot of sense. I remember when I finally stopped playing. A lot of my friends like, man, you got any regrets? I said, no. I left everything I had. I ain't got no more left. I mean, my body didn't last as long as everybody else's, you know. And my life after sports has been pretty good to me. Yeah. And to my right hand man, this is my guy. Same question to you, man. What's life after sports for you like right now?
I think it went in a couple of different phases. You know, I think like Jonathan said, you know, he hit the nail on the head. I think when I first got done, for me, man, like I said, because during my time and when you're making all the money you took, for some reason, I was like the quarterback. So when it was bad, it was bad. You know, you had to answer the questions and your body's not giving you what you're used to. So when I never announced retirement. You know what I mean? I just didn't go back. You know what I mean? It was,
God damn.
What is that?
Quit.
Sunshine.
Hey, man, that's
never
called-
coming home. Take it easy.
Hey, that's some black shit.
but you know what I'm saying? I never, to this day, I never filed retirement papers. I never said anything. It was time to go. You know what I mean? And like I said, when you wake up, you go to bed, quote unquote, somewhat healthy, and you wake up and your body doesn't respond, you know what I mean? And you get injured sleeping. It's time to do something different. So, you know, then I start to play golf. You know, the odd thing for me was, you know, retired at 39. There was everybody my age was still working, man. So I'm playing golf with brothers that, you know, that were. I know. I know.
We all went through that. I know.
You know, but that was the best thing that probably could have happened to me because they were all married, they were all successful, and they were, and a couple were, you know, divorced, but they were still, they prepared me for what life, you know, even though, you know, from my grandmother to my mother to my, you know, my uncles to, you know, my whole family, you know, my dad in and out, you know, I should say in. I'm not even saying out. My dad was always in, but we didn't always just see eye to eye. You know what I mean? So it was different. And then COVID hit. And then I decided I needed like 13 different careers, man. You know, that's what, you know, because I got all this time. But, you know, during COVID, I got to see my kids every single day. We played pickleball. I have 3 courts in the backyard. We played every single day. We hung out with their friends because, you know, you got to keep your space. And it was nice to not be on technology, you know, where you were able to, people actually talked.
Right.
You know, like, you know, when we grew up. You know
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and then after COVID, you know, up until now, I'm still like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do that anymore. You know, trying to get out all those things you make commitments for. Mm-hmm. You know, it's different. I think for me now, it's just, like I said, I have a grandson, you know, he's my heart. You know, my kids are my heart. You know, all 3 of them: little Greg, Corey, Janae, and you know. So it's ironic for me to move from California to Vegas at this time when I should be. I don't know. I want to say should be there, but I felt like it was time for me to live for me. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense.
Yeah, we live for a lot of people while we playing.
Yeah.
You know,
we playing football, but we living for other people.
We live for a lot of people, man, and you know. It just got to a point when, you know, everyone said, you're moving to Vegas to chill and do your thing. You know, my mom said to me, go do you. You know what I mean? My mom was like, it's not your responsibility to make sure everybody is this and all your friends' bills are paid and, you know, your siblings or relatives or whatever. Go, you know, because I felt guilty for a long time, man, but I wasn't happy. Right. You know what I mean? And since I've been here, I'm
feel good.
You know, I do. You know, I mean, shoot, it's a private is 38 minutes, 45 minutes. You know, if you have to get back, but I'm living for me for once. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean I don't value people and I don't love my family. It just means, you know, I deserve to be happy too. You know what I mean?
It was weird when I told everybody I was moving to Vegas to retire. Retire? I said, I'm retiring. I'm moving to Vegas. I'm living in Vegas. How you retire in Vegas? People don't understand.
Donut, man.
Jonathan made it the most simplest thing. And the
never heard
reason I
nothing
brought
like
that up, because I wanted to bring up the donut.
That's true.
Man, Jonathan, that was the greatest analogy of being in Vegas.
Yep.
A donut.
Trademark that, JL.
Trademark it, bro. Hey, Josh, put that down for JL.
Hey, we got it. We got 3 cameras.
Man,
on it.
this donut life in Vegas, I love it, man, because I lived in Los Angeles. I lived in New York. I lived in Philly. I lived in St. Louis. But the greatest place I've lived in as an adult is Las Vegas.
By far. I mean, I tell people all the time I could live anywhere I want to in this country.
Anywhere.
And I choose to live here because I think this is the best place to live. I just do.
Golf courses.
I mean, it gets a little hot in the summer. Okay. But, but that's cool, though. I mean, we just,
better than cold.
Exactly, man. Exactly,
Better than
man.
cold.
I can golf year
It
round.
is.
I mean, we just stay away from the strip unless you have no choice but to go down there. And you be good.
Hey, what's your choice of gambling? Do you have one?
already know.
Pai poker.
Pie-yow!
Pai
What's yours?
Hey, man, I'm getting away from that.
What is it?
I'm blackjack, but I'm getting away. But see, JL, we go to the same spot. JL said, like I said, this is the thing about him, man. He's just such a gentle giant. He's like, he's like, man, you push half the hands. You don't push half the hands.
Look, the thing about Pai blackjack is just too many highs and lows. You hit fast, lose fast, mostly lose fast. And I gave up. I used to play blackjack. I moved here in '99, so I've been here 25 years, even when I was playing. And I used to play blackjack all the time. I used to go out 4 or 5 nights a week to the Hard Rock, to the Pond. I knew all the spots back in the day, everywhere. And but blackjack, man, that game just, oh God, I want to say about 15 years ago, I just got so fed up with that shit. I ain't never playing again. Because I just kept taking beating. They had 20, you know the scenarios.
Yeah.
But a buddy of mine introduced me to Pai about 5 years ago. It's a great game because you lose, but you lose much slower than any other game. So if you want to sit there, be social, have a couple cocktails, maybe build up some points to get a meal or two here and there, that's the game to go play right there, man. I'm telling you, Pai poker.
Pie-yow poker. Well, I think mine is Keno.
Keno.
I'm a Keno.
Oh yeah, you video poker.
I'm a video
Keno.
poker guy because I want to trick myself like I'm not gambling, but I'm really gambling. So I'm just lying to myself because I'm not playing poker. I'm not playing
It's
blackjack.
a video game.
But I love Keno because my grandma and I used to go to bingo, and it reminded me of bingo with the 4 cards. And we would sit there, and she'll have her little snuff and have a little whiskey on the side, and she'll sit there and be like, boy, get them goddamn cards ready. Pay attention to them 4 cards. And I always have 4 cards with the same numbers as Keno. So this is weird. Now, I'm an adult. I'm not playing bingo, but I'm playing Keno.
No, they got bingo in the casino. I'm gonna play a little bit.
Hey, man, do I look like an old woman?
hey, you know what? And that's I can't tell you the last time I played blackjack because all my boys. I mean, Ryan Howard, Ryan. I mean, everybody I know has hit a royal, man. I've lived here off and on for 5 years.
You've never hit a royal?
No, dude, I've never hit a royal. And I think I just stay there because I order my food at the bar. I can watch the game, and then my drinks don't cost nothing.
I've had in video poker, I had about 3 royals over the years, but it's hard.
It's hard.
I won money. I got 4 queens and a 2.
Yeah.
But a royal, man.
Yeah.
I know some people that get them like every other week. That's just.
Well, God has blessed you in another way, and that's the way that He blessed them.
Right.
Hey, man, we have a thing here in Life After Sports that we called breaking chains and building dreams. And man, you have broke a chain and built a dream for yourself and your family, man. And God bless you. I love you as a friend, man. You like my little brother, man. And dude, I love you with all my heart. And God, thank you for coming on our show, spending your time, and trucking your big ass down is hard. Man, tracking him down is hard as hell. And he live around the corner from me.
I know, but the thing about J.O., but he's always J.O. though. You know what I mean? This is like I said, man. He's straight Cal Berkeley, man.
I got here. I told you I was gonna be here. I'm here. Once I commit, I'm committed.
Hey, man.
See, that's what I respect y'all, both you guys, and our air. J.O., Your little daughter's birthday, man. Cheers to your
yes.
daughter.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, little J.O.
right.
Hey, man, love here on Life After Sports. Thank you.